All right, guys. So I've been getting some questions on how to think of blueprints in a more simple way, um, especially like when it comes to like things like puzzles. And I think puzzles, once you kind of figure these out and you start learning how to make puzzles, especially in Blueprint or C++ or C Sharp, whatever engine you're working in, whenever you're coding, if you go in and you make puzzles, I think that's going to make you a better programmer, better coder, scripter, whatever the heck you want to call yourself, a lot faster. You're going to start understanding things a lot faster because you're understanding the baseline, most simplistic version of the logic first. That's what you really want to do. So here we have these different colors and shapes. And I know that I need to press the blue square and then the green sphere and then the yellow cylinder and then the green sphere here in order to open the door. So if I do that really quick, 1, 3, 2, 3, the door is open, or they delete because I'm lazy. And but you notice that I said 1, 3, 2, 3 whenever I was doing it, and that's not just because it's written right there. It's because I assigned an index or a number to these that represents them. Instead of saying blue square, when we have to look at maybe like the RGB of the square, or we have to find out some way of checking out the shape of the cube or whatever. We don't have to do any of that. We can simplify it all the way down to, let's just give it a number, something that represents it. Instead of saying like looking for exactly what it is, we can just get a representation of it. And we can use that to check against instead of making it a very complex thing. So today I want to go over how exactly we do that. And I'm going to try this really, really quick. I've already wasted 2 minutes like talking about this, so I'm going to jump ahead and we're going to open up a fresh project and get into this. So one of the first things I'm going to do, I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to make a new folder. I'm going to call this main, and this is just to keep it clean. We're going to shove everything in here. I'm not going to make blueprint folders or anything like that. I am going to make a new material really quick. I'm going to call this m underscore base color or something like that. Open that up. We're going to expand it really fast. Over here in the base color, I'm going to right click. I'm going to promote to base color. I'm going to rename this base color with no space in it, just to make that simpler on me later on. Okay, I'm going to close that because I don't need it anymore. And then I'm going to make a new interface. This is going to be our BPI interact, which should be our interact interface. We are going to say on interact. That's it for that one. And I close it. We're going to make another one of those. This will be BPI puzzle. Open that up. We're going to say update, update puzzle. And on this one, when we go down to inputs, hit the plus, we're going to pass through an integer. This will be the puzzle piece number or index. I'm going to call it puzzle piece number. Keep it so it's something that you guys can visually see and understand it a little bit easier. If you want to call it index, go for it. That's what I normally would name it, but I'm used to thinking about stuff in this type of way, so I understand this keeps it a little bit simpler for you guys. All right, that is on update. Sorry, one more. So we updating the puzzle, and then another thing we want to do is make a new one. We call it on puzzle finish, I guess. Puzzle complete, or however you guys want to. Puzzle success, actually, but a decent one. So that's all we need is just those two functions there and the one function in the other interface. So now I'm going to quickly jump to our third person folder, first person folder if you're using that one. We're going to open up the blueprints folder, go to third person character, and I'm going to quickly, we're just going to make a debug key. I'm not going to show you guys how to make an input here, just because I'm trying to keep this fast. So I'm going to get debug key F, and whenever we press this, we are going to do a sphere trace by channel. And I'm going to go to the viewport here. I'm going to add a scene. Pull this out a little bit. And what we can do really fast is we can add a sphere collision to this. Now, for some reason that defaulted to the middle of the body here. I'm just going to zero out its X, Y, and Z. With it parented to the scene, it'll zero out to exactly where the scene is. Let's then set this to 55. And maybe we're going to lower the scene slightly. We're just using the sphere as a way of seeing where this is going to be. Okay, cool. So 55 and where the scene is. So I'm going to delete the sphere now. Remember, that was just a visualizer for me. And an event graph here. I'm going to grab our scene and I'm going to get its world location. So where this thing is at in the relative to the world and not relative to the player. Okay. And remember the 55 was where we had it, which I knew this from before because when I made it before. I'm going to do a raw debug for one frame. And I'm going to do a branch here. The way I got the branch so fast was I held B and I left clicked. Okay, and we're going to break this out hit. So pull off of that, type break. And so basically what we're doing here with this branch is asking, did this hit anything? If it did, then we want to keep checking. And then we want to ask if the actor that we hit, does it implement an interface? We want to find out, does it implement the interact interface? Okay, if it does, then we want to pull off of the actor that we hit and say on interact. We want to get this message version here with a little envelope on the side. Plug that into true. Basically, if when we're searching for something by pressing F, if we hit anything that has that interface on it, we want to just call its interact function. Okay, that's it for the character. We can delete the character, or not delete the character, but close the character. And we'll go back to our main folder here, and I'm going to start creating the assets we need for the puzzle. So the first one we're going to make is called the, we'll just call it the puzzle piece. So actor, we're going to name it BP puzzle piece. I'm just going to make it for right now and keep going. We're going to make another blueprint here. Actor, this will be the BP underscore puzzle manager, and the very last one, and one that we'll probably go to next, which is the BP door. We're gonna open up the door really fast because it's insanely simple. We're gonna add a static mesh and or cube, whatever. I'm gonna make this actually the shape cube, that way that its pivot point is on the bottom. Okay, and then I'm going to go into the event graph, delete all that, go to class settings here, over here to implemented interfaces, hit the drop down, look for BPI interact, and that will give us this interfaces tab over here, where if you see it like this, just hit the little arrow to open it up, double click on interact, and whenever something interacts with us, oh sorry, this actually did this wrong, delete this, my bad. We don't want the interact interface on this one. We want to go ahead and delete this one. And no, we do not want to transfer the functions to our blueprint. I'm going to hit add again, and we're going to get the puzzle interface. My bad, guys. Sorry about that. Same thing over here. We're going to do on puzzle finish. We are going to destroy ourselves. We're going to delete the door. We could have it open here or whatever. You guys could use timelines. This isn't a tutorial on how to do doors, so for us we're just going to destroy it. Okay, so I'm gonna take that door here and I'm just going to scale it in the viewport to make this nice and simple. Okay, and we can actually have like two of them like I did in the preview. I am going to show you guys how to do two at once. And then we can go to our puzzle manager, open that up. Okay, in here we want to create a couple of variables. So the first one will be puzzle pieces. It will be of type actor. So we want to go actor, object reference. I'm going to right click on this to make it an array and then click the eyeball. And I right clicked on where it says actor. That's how I got that. If that's not working for you, come over here to this drop down, switch from single to array. Okay, I'm going to add another thing, and this will be when pieces, I guess is what we can do. Also will be of type actor. Okay, and then we're gonna make another variable. This one will be called correct sequence. And this will be of type integer. We can also make that exposed by hitting the eyeball. And another one called player entered sequence. We're not gonna hit the eyeball on that one. All right, so let's get this kind of set up. I'm gonna put this into the world really fast. Oh, you know what? Let's make this really simple, really fast. I'm going to add inside the puzzle manager a text renderer. And we're gonna do something kind of nice for this. I know this is a little bit of a tangent, but just to make this a lot easier on us. In the construction script, I'm going to take that text renderer. I'm going to get the text, and we're going to get the correct sequence, and I'm going to hit F for each and left click to get the for each loop. And then I'm going to grab the array element here. Make sure not to grab the array index, but the array element. And we're going to grab our text. We're going to say to, I'm sorry, we're going to say set text. There we go. And we are going to actually copy that and say get text as well. I kind of had it right in my head. And we're going to append. I think this has to be a string. Yeah, it does. So we're going to say to string text, and then we're going to say append that with our array element, and we're going to plug that in here. And what that should do is whatever number we put in here, which we might need to put like if this is greater than, or sorry, the length of this. Actually, no. The for each loop will actually take care of that for us. It won't run this if it doesn't have anything inside the array, so we're good. All right, and so what that's going to basically do is it will set this text to be whatever is in here, I think. We need to just make sure that the initial text doesn't say text. There we go. And so like whatever numbers we put in here, it will put them in here. So we can say 0, 2, 3, 1, and that can be our code. And okay, so trying to think, we got a little off topic there. Okay, we want to implement the puzzle interface really quick and drop down. We want to say on update puzzle. We want to get this number, which came from the puzzle pieces, which might help if I go set that up really fast. So we're going to pause right there, and we're going to switch to our BP puzzle piece. We're going to open that up. We're going to make a couple of things here. The first thing will be the puzzle piece number. If you want, you can actually just name this index. If you want, I'm gonna hit the eyeball on this. We're gonna make another one called color, and that will be of type linear color. Oh, I want a linear cut. There we go. Ooh, I'm tired. All right. And then we need the puzzle manager, and that will be of type puzzle manager. There's the puzzle manager. Okay, object reference, and also an eyeball on that. Inside of our construction script here, oh, actually, sorry, we're going to add a static mesh right there. I'm going to just give this shape cone for the first one. That'll work. I'm going to compile really fast so we get the material to pop up, and I'm going to give this the m underscore base color that we made earlier. And then we're going to go to the construction script. We're going to grab our static mesh. We're going to pull off of that and say create dynamic material instance. And we're going to plug in, oh, sorry, not going to plug in yet. We're going to get for our source material, our m underscore base color. Pull off of this, and we're going to say set vector parameter. A vector parameter in this case would be an RGB parameter, basically, or color. And then we'll just set this to a default of white, our base color here. So what that's going to do, guys, really, really fast, is we can take our puzzle piece here, and I can, wait, did I set that up? Nope, parameter value here. We need to set that name to be base color, and where we're getting that from is if we look at the material here, whenever we made this parameter, we named it base color, so we can just copy that, come back over to our puzzle piece, paste it in, file save, and you'll notice that now that's white. And then we can copy this. I can just go to the static mesh, change it to like a shape cube. Sorry, shape cube, there it is. And then click off, click back on, so that we're making sure that we're always on BP self and not copying the static mesh. And then we can switch to static mesh, grab a cylinder, that's fine. Click off, click on, alt drag, and then click the static mesh, and we will switch this one to capsule. That works. All right, so now we can go through each one of these and we can get them all different colors. So this one could be blue, this one pink, does not matter at all. Remember, this is like the visual side of it. We're worried more about the back-end code side of it. So we have all these different colors. Now we want to give these guys a number to represent this specific piece. So the first one, we can just keep it 0. We're just going to do it kind of like an array. The second one can be 1. Third one can be 2. And the last one can be 3. The reason we start at 0 is arrays always start at 0. All right. So back in our puzzle piece, we want to go to class settings and implement that interact interface that we created on the character earlier, so that whenever we press F and we're near this, if that sphere overlaps it, it will fire off this on interact interface. I can delete the rest of this, move this up to the center. There we go. And so whenever we hit this, what I want it to do is I want it to print the number that we are, or that is assigned to this puzzle piece. And then I want to get the puzzle manager. I'm going to right click on that, convert to validated yet. Make sure that we have assigned this in the viewport like we're supposed to. And then we're going to pull off of here and we're going to say update. And we'll get that update puzzle message version here. And we just want to pass through whatever our puzzle number is. Okay, I am recording, right? Yes, that would have been really bad. It's been 20 minutes. All right, trying to go fast, guys. All right, so now whenever I walk up to this stuff, press F, it printed out the 0. I know it's not keeping the circle up because I'm doing it for 1 frame. There it is, it's the 0, it's 1, 2, and 3. It's probably hard to see on my screen. But yeah, now we have these interacting and actually printing out their number. And then we're passing that number to the puzzle manager, right? We go to the puzzle manager here. Whenever that number gets passed to us, whenever we're updating the puzzle, what we want to do is add that to the player entered sequence. So we can just pull off of this player entered sequence, add, and just add that number into it. So what that's going to do is if I select this here, whenever we hit this, it's going to add a number and it's going to pass through whatever number it was, right? So at index 0, remember arrays always start at 0. will have 2, and then index 1 will have 1, and index 2 will have 3, and the last index 3 will have 0, right? And then we want to take that and check it against our other ones. Because see, here we have at index 0 we have 0, at 1 we have 2, at 2 we have 3, at 3 we have 1. We want to check that in correspondence. And so what's really, really nice about this is whenever we enter this in, we find out what index this number that we are passing in is getting assigned to. So let's say we're passing in 2, we're going to see that, oh, that's assigned to 0. So we can check, is the 0 index of this one also 2, right? Now I'm actually going to end up deleting these guys because we want this to be empty whenever we're done. I'm just kind of showing this to you guys so you kind of understand it. So we take that and we're going to say, is this equal to, and we're going to grab get from the correct sequence because we want to get something at a certain index. The way we're finding out what that index is, and I just realized that that's wrong. Sorry, unplug that from here. We're going to find out what that index is by getting it from here. Because remember, this returns the index of the newly added item, not the newly added item. So this number and this number are not the same. This is just where this number is inside this array. So then we can say, pull off of this, and I'm going to say equal, wait in here actually. If this number is equal to this number, pull this out. I'm gonna reroute this so it's a little bit easier to see. I was getting kind of jumbled. All right, if these two numbers are equal, cool, we're doing it right. And I'm gonna print correct here. So print correct. If it's not equal to that, then we want to take the player entered sequence and we want to clear it so that the player can start over. And what clear does is it just deletes everything inside that array and starts it over. So it basically goes boop, gone, right? Which we need to do anyway. So go ahead and make sure you are selecting the player entered sequence and hitting the trash can on this. We want that to be empty so that when the player hits it, they are entering their numbers themselves, right? All right. And I'm going to copy paste this and we're just going to switch it from saying correct to fail or I don't know, wrong, whatever you want it to be. So if that is correct, we want to then get the length of both the entered sequence and the correct sequence. We'll just copy both of these, paste down here, get the length and of this one, and also copy paste the length of this one. And if these two are equal to each other in length, so length is how long an array is. So if we look at the correct sequence, this guy is 4 in length. Even though the last index is 3, the only reason it's 3 is because the first index is 0. It has 4 numbers in it, right? So that is how you get the length. And so we want to make sure that these have the same amount of numbers in them. And so like if it was already correct and we got to this point, if it has the same amount of numbers, then we're done. The player has entered in the entire sequence. So then we will just do a win. And in order to do win, we will grab, and actually I'm going to do another print string here. And it's kind of nice to have these print strings in as you're coding and go through and delete them later on. Because it helps you to make sure that as you're going through, it's like, oh, hey, I didn't get the win thing, but the door's deleted, or, you know, something, I don't know. For me, it's helpful when I'm prototyping. So we're gonna get the win pieces, and I'm gonna hold F and left click to get a for each loop. And for each one of the items inside of the win pieces, we are going to say, was it success? Puzzle finish, yeah. On puzzle finish. And we'll just pass through that and they'll do their whatever they have in their puzzle finish function, which in our doors case, it has the delete function. It'll just destroy itself. All right, and if we're not done, if this is not equal to it, then we just won't do anything. We'll just let the player keep entering numbers. All right, so I think that'll actually work. what we want to do here is we'll notice that when we select these puzzle pieces, they do not have a puzzle manager assigned. So what we need to do is grab a puzzle manager, bring it into the world, rotate that so we can read those numbers. Okay, and then I'm going to select all of our puzzle pieces. When I hit this eyedropper, click on the puzzle manager, and then with the puzzle manager selected, I'm going to grab the puzzle pieces, which we never actually ended up using. Don't know why I even made that, but we'll grab the win pieces here, and we're going to get 2 of these, and we'll drop it onto both of the doors. And I guess for the puzzle pieces, we can just hit 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and select each puzzle piece. Because maybe, we'll destroy those 2. So I'm going to go up here to this, enter, and then we'll grab the puzzle pieces, do another for each loop on this, and we'll just write destroy actor. There we go. It'll just delete all the puzzle pieces too. All right. So now, if we walk up to this, we'll see that we have 0, 2, 3, 1. Now remember, our array starts at 0, so this would be 1, 2. So we'll press F on that. Oh, sorry, it starts at 0. So it should allow us now to walk over here. 0, F on that, correct. 2, correct. 3, correct, and then 1, and everything deleted. Okay, so that is probably the most basic way I can think of to do this. But you don't have, the main moral of this is you do not have to think about puzzle pieces or blueprints or whatever. If you're needing to compare things in order to progress your puzzles, you can very easily boil them down to numbers. And the array thing is just nice because then you can very easily check them against something else that is already stored. So that was a little bit more advanced concept thrown into a beginner concept to kind of help you guys think in that manner. Hopefully this helped. If it did, please like, comment, subscribe. I have a Patreon, so if you want to help see the channel grow and give me more time to be able to do stuff like this, then hit me up on Patreon. If you guys have any questions and if you ever need any help, I do not charge for help. You guys can jump in the Discord. If you want to throw me a bone, go for it. But I don't charge for help. Jump in the Discord. Don't be afraid to ask questions. I will pop in. I will help out. I have sat down with many of you guys. And if one of you guys that I've sat down with is watching this video, please throw in the comments below. Yeah, he's helped me out. Blah, blah, blah. So we have some testimonials or whatever. Yeah. Don't be afraid to ask, because that's the worst thing to do when you're trying to learn this stuff, is to not ask for help. And before we go, I wanted to quickly thank Honey for being one of my first Patreons, or first patrons to my Patreon. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys later.